The Biden White House facing fresh accusations of colluding with big tech to censor Americans. A new lawsuit filed by two Republican attorneys general is pushing for the release of more emails between top Biden officials and big tech titans after getting their hands on docs that shed a light on their cozy relationship. They say the evidence is appalling.
We know it's at the highest levels of government, but we don't know exactly how high and how wide this goes because the Department of Justice is objecting to discovery to the folks in the White House, and they're claiming executive privilege, which is nonsense because we're not even asking for internal communications. We're asking for communications with these third parties. This ought to shock every American, regardless of your political stripe, that the government is actually censoring and silencing Americans.
Okay, so what we've got is what we've always suspected, Kayleigh, and that is that the White House, the Biden administration, is colluding with big tech, Facebook and Twitter, and basically telling them what they should suppress and not suppress. The question is, does the White House have that right?
No, of course they don't. And in fact, it's likely illegal what they're doing because you can't suppress First Amendment speech of a citizen when you are the United States federal government, even via a subsidiary. That disinformation board, that didn't happen, appears to have happened in practice when you have 45 federal officials who engaged in this, according to the attorneys general, 11 agencies. That's a big operation. We knew this. Jen Psaki told us on July 15th that flagging problematic Facebook posts and the spread of disinformation was a priority. So they admitted this out loud. But what is striking to me, because we knew this was happening at the federal government, is the third parties who willingly engage. When you had a Facebook official email the Surgeon General and say, I know our teams met today to better understand the scope of what the White House expects from us. Remember that guy, Brian Stelter? It reminds me of when he said to Jen Psaki, how can we be better? This is social media. What do you expect of us? Big media. How can we be better? Sensing a trend. It is essentially private sector partnering with the Democrat Party.
Here's Brian.
Ryan, I do too. I know you do on Gutfeld.
You know, Joey, one of the things that is so disturbing is that Jen Psaki, as Kayleigh just said, openly admitted flagging what they considered problematic posts, which is basically the Biden administration being a censorship enterprise, a violation, as Kayleigh says, of the First Amendment. Where do they get off doing this?
They don't have much objectivity to them. They're not trying to hide it because they believe it's righteous, it's holy, it's the truth, right? In their minds, we didn't get to decide what was or wasn't good for our bodies. They did. So they would have flagged, a post about masks early on if they had had this type of coordination going early on, maybe if they had been in charge for the first year of COVID, they would have flagged posts that said, masks only work if you're trying not to spread it, but it doesn't really help you catching it. And then 6 months later, Fauci comes out and says something to that effect. They would have been stepping all over themselves had they had this capability and been in the White House for the first year of this pandemic. And so as things change, as new information comes out, they have to accept that some of the guidance early on, even if it was well-intended, was ill-advised. And to think that they were squashing people who went out and did their own research, found their own answers, and just put it out there, and to say you don't have the right to do that in a country with the First Amendment, but they're not going to try to hide it because they don't care, because they think they're righteous in doing this. They believe in their power more than our rights.
You know, the disinformation board that they floated and then, they saw that America wasn't going to accept it is really in effect, although they don't have it out there openly with what's-her-name singing Mary Poppins, but they basically have a disinformation board. Do you think that's constitutional, Jessica?
I'm not sure. The courts, I guess, will play it out if it ever gets taken there. I'm not a lawyer, and I don't want to pretend to be one.
But you know about the First Amendment.
Yes, I do know about the First Amendment, and I know that there are concerns that a company would take to make sure that they are protecting people who are on there, especially when it comes to something like medical information. I will say, Joey, that actually the reality was, according to Facebook, that the Trump administration was coordinating with them when COVID first started. So this was something that wasn't just a Democrat. Well, maybe it didn't cross your desk. Maybe
it didn't cross my desk.
Okay. Well, there was a chyron of it earlier that Facebook said. No, actually. But anyway, I want to say, so I was pregnant during the pandemic, and one of the main pieces of disinformation that was going around was that if you got vaccinated while you were pregnant, that you had higher likelihood of miscarrying. That's obviously something that's incredibly scary. And I ended up getting vaccinated while I was pregnant. My doctor assured me that it was fine. But making sure that information like that is not getting out there is a worthy cause. And I'm not for censorship. I am for careful looking at these kinds of things, because there are people who are getting bad information over social media. And, you know, whether it's that they would have cared about Hunter Biden's laptop, I care about that a lot less than the people who are getting bad information about medicines that could help save their lives or could pass immunity on to their growing babies, which is what happened. My daughter was born with antibodies because I got vaccinated while I was pregnant.
Greg, how about the fact that some of the stuff that they were telling us during the pandemic turned out to be absolutely not supported, not true, not accurate. And all of a sudden they want to say to us, well, we still need to be in charge of what you do and don't do. Shouldn't it be between you and your doctor? And if anyone goes to the internet to figure this stuff out, well, that's a risk that they take.
I think that's the big point is that everybody in a way deserves a mulligan. When you have a pandemic once every 100 years, there's going to be people that are going to be initially be right and then wrong, and then that's going to change. I am pro disinformation, because one man's disinformation is another person's fact, right? A censor never says they're a censor. They just say they're concerned about your health. And so they use medical information now as kind of as their weaponry to start curtailing information. So disinformation has now become the new hate speech, right? And they use health as a shield, almost like how they make everything now as a health problem. So now, like, language can be a health problem. The language that you use could be hurtful, and that is a health problem. They could say that inequality or a lack of equity is a health problem. So you have to be very careful that they're playing this game. It's all about controlling the megaphone. We've learned that the left sees social media as an extension of media, a platform where they can manipulate the spigot, turn on the propaganda, turn it off, and they always feel like they're entitled to it because, going back to the A block, they see that the other side is evil and therefore should not have the same rights they do, because everything that I'm going to say is obviously going to be disinformation, right? You know, there are people that disagree with you, Jessica, about the child. A lot of people did not get vaccinated, and you can't argue, and they'll be very polite to you about it. You can't say, like, you know what, you shouldn't have got that information. The solution to misinformation is always more information, not less.
And I want to say, and I think that this is true of a lot of kind of hot topic political debates, especially when you talk about an issue like abortion. I've always felt this way. No one is right or wrong necessarily. It's about what legalities are and protections are. I never told a woman, you got to get vaccinated right now. That is your body, your choice about that. Absolutely. But I don't think that bad information should be allowed to circulate about miscarriages that were not happening.
I don't know how you. I don't know how you.
How do you police that? I mean, really.
Well,
how do you police that?
Bad information. I get it. If somebody says, you know, it's perfectly legal to set fire to things, that's bad information. Maybe you can get charged for telling a child he can light a fire.
It's a crime. Okay, that's a crime. That is objective. As a society, we have said these laws have to be followed. You violate them, then you violated the social contract.
There's a part of the story that's buried, though, because social media companies now are almost in this place where, like, oh, but it was the FBI, it was the administration. Social media companies are the ones that created this bubble that we live in, that we only get a certain type of information because they believe that's what we want, and it keeps us addicted to opening this phone. And so they have to acknowledge their own sins in this before they can punt it over to any administration on censoring. They are censoring us before the administration even has a chance to.
Yeah. So, up next, America's never-ending travel nightmare is about to ruin your Labor Day. And the Biden administration is totally clueless on how to fix it.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.